Hello and welcome to Corporate College Facebook Live. My name is Suzanne Ortiz. I am the program manager here at Corporate College, and I am so gracious and grateful to have Jim Odom here. Jim is one of our instructors, and he's also a master black belt. So I just want to know if you have your 2 black belts on for karate.
All the time.
All the time?
All the time.
Well,
I wouldn't be anywhere without them.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So if there's ever any bad guys who come in, you're going to take care of them for us. I'm very happy that we're already there. Most of the time, whenever we talk about this type of topic, which we're talking about deploying and sustaining lean, individuals will call us and we'll tell them, yeah, you can get a yellow belt, a green belt, and a black belt, and they always ask about that karate piece. So I just find that extremely funny. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
Yes, we are very excited to talk about this topic.
Great.
I am a huge Lean and Lean Six Sigma person. So why don't we just get right into it?
Absolutely.
And let's talk about what is Lean.
Lean is all about identifying and eliminating waste.
Okay.
So if you got waste in your process of any kind, and we identify waste as 7 different categories.
Okay.
First one's being transportation. Moving materials, information, anywhere in your organization is typically non-value add.
Okay.
And the next one is inventory, making sure that we've got the right amount of inventory, not excess. We look at finished goods, work in process, even raw materials, things like office supplies.
Yeah.
All considered
Paper
as
clips and
paper
staples.
clips.
We had that conversation once, right? Because
Exactly.
paper clips and staples, and you said stop using staples, right?
You're
We're
right.
supposed to use paper clips because we can reuse them, right?
The next waste is motion.
Okay.
People looking for things, hunting for different things that they need to do their job. Rather than having the tools at the point of use, they're out looking for things, and that's a waste.
And walking to a copy machine that's,
Yeah.
12 feet away from your desk.
Or across the
Everybody
hall.
else. Yeah, right.
The next one is waiting. It's probably my pet peeve.
Yeah.
Waiting for everything to happen.
Yes.
Life is constantly waiting for something.
Yes.
Overproduction.
That's a big
Overproducing
one.
more than what your customer needs or wants at any one
And
time.
that's wasted.
And it creates
Expensive,
waste
yeah.
in transportation, moving that stuff around. You have to store it somewhere.
Yeah.
Then you have to have people inventory it and look, for it periodically.
Yeah.
Overprocessing is another one.
These are all things that we can resonate with, right?
Yeah. And then defects. Defects is the last one.
And that's what we're trying to eliminate.
That's what we're trying to eliminate.
Okay. So we talk about lean, and we offer the Lean Six Sigma. So we
Yes.
think about, we're talking about deploying and sustaining lean,
Yes.
and then we offer Lean Six Sigma. So what's the difference between that lean and the Six Sigma?
Okay. Six Sigma, on the other hand, is trying to reduce variation,
Okay.
making your processes more consistent. Customers like consistency. You go to your favorite
do.
restaurant, right?
Yes.
And what do you like about your favorite restaurant?
Well,
It's
consistency. Right. Good workers too. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you order something, you know exactly how it's going to come out.
Right.
You don't have to worry, how it's
Yeah.
going to taste and all
Right.
of that. So it's the consistency and reducing that variation.
And so having that mixture of the lean and the Six Sigma is a really great combination.
Great
right?
combination because you've got the whole tool set that take care of just about any kind of problem that you might run into.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good, right?
That's great.
We got to solve those problems to keep that consistency and happy customers.
Exactly.
All right, so one of the questions that we really wanted to ask about this is, what are some of the key steps to deploying and implementing that lean program that companies want to do? So one of the things we really talked about a lot was the leadership commitment, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
And leadership is vital from the get-go.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that commitment, it takes resources, it takes time and money. It takes that commitment from all the leadership to make the process successful.
yeah, because if they're successful, then from a frontline perspective, we have someone who has buy-in, and we can go to that person and
Right.
they'll say, okay, whatever you need to do, you've got it.
And if you're at a low level in the organization, you're trying to implement lean, it's like pushing on a rope because you've got to get everybody involved. And sometimes that's tough if you don't have the commitment
Yeah.
at the leadership level.
That leaders can, get the ball rolling and
Yeah.
say, hey, I need you to help with this.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. One of the other things we had was create steering committee or
Yeah.
deployment champion.
The deployment champion, I think, is vital because you need somebody that's going to be accountable, that
Okay.
can interact with top management, to make sure that the direction of the program is going to help you with your strategic direction, your goals and initiatives that your company might have. So I think it's vital that you have that one person that's sort of the focal point for everything. They'll keep all the metrics for instance, for how much you're saving.
And does that person have to be like a green belt or a black belt
No.
or a master black belt? They can just be any individual,
They can be
right?
someone at least in a middle management or above.
Okay.
Somebody that can that
The
knows
decision
everything.
making.
Yeah,
Right.
the decision makers
Yeah.
is right.
Someone who, the connections.
Exactly.
Okay. The other one we had was aligned projects to strategic goals and metrics, KPI.
Yeah, KPIs, making sure that, again, your projects align with what you're trying to accomplish and what's important to the organization.
Yeah.
The key performance metrics, indicators that organizations have. You want to keep those moving in the right direction. So your projects ought to be focused on, how can you make those metrics better?
Yeah.
How can you improve them?
And picking projects that probably is the easiest to maintain and go out, right? So, I mean, if you have a great idea and I have a great idea and mine affects 5,000 people and your affects 5,
Yes.
probably going to want to go with mine, right?
Right.
No offense in any way of that, right?
But yeah, you're absolutely right. I tell people to look at value streams, and there are some value streams that you have more opportunity than others.
Okay.
And so concentrate on those ones that you have an issue with, so that you can get it where it needs to
Yeah,
be.
and even start small, right? If you're not
Exactly.
familiar with it, if you can't go through the training or anything like that, it's more of just let's start with small projects, see how it works, get the kinks out, and then start moving up, because
Right.
there's a lot of cost savings to
There
a
is.
lot of this.
There are huge cost savings.
Yeah, I know we had done a project. I'm not going to mention the company in any way, but I know they were working at there, because this is the first time I had ever met you, and we were doing process mapping. I was so excited to see Jim do process mapping. It was just like my Lean Six Sigma geek came out on that one. But we were doing accounting, I think it
Yes.
was, and the company ended up saving like $250,000
Yeah.
or something like that.
That's not unusual.
And it was such a small group too.
Yeah.
And it was like accounting. It was just invoicing and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's amazing. I'll just give you a short story about a company that wanted to implement Lean, and I was at that time working with another consultant.
Okay.
So we came in and did our dog and pony show, and the owner jumps up and says, "Yep, I'm ready to get started. When and where can we get started at?"
Yeah.
So he had an operation that was 24/7, and he started up on Sunday night. So I told him I'd come in on Sunday night and just walk around, look, see how the operation went. So I get there on Sunday night, introduce myself to the supervisor. This is about 11 o'clock at night. And first machine starts up at 10 after 11.
Okay.
The next machine at 11:20, 11:30.
Wow.
About every 10 or 15 minutes,
Yeah.
another machine would start up.
Yeah.
The last machine, he had 13 machines. The last machine started up close to 2:30 in the morning. So as I'm walking around, I'm noticing all this, and I finally find the supervisor, and I said, "There's something here I don't really understand. What's going on about these machines starting up every 10, 15 minutes?"
Yeah.
Well, he says, every operator has to grease their machine before they can start up.
Yeah.
He said, "We only have one grease gun."
For 13 machines?
13 machines,
One grease gun.
one grease gun.
Oh my
And-
goodness.
And this is a very high volume operation. And you
Yeah.
can just imagine the revenue that this person was losing.
Right. And
He-
how much is a grease?
The next morning, I
Yeah.
couldn't wait for the guy to get in there, and I told him all about what I had found. And he sent somebody to Lowe's, and I think for less than $500, he bought 12 more grease guns.
And so everything, they saved what? That was 2
Oh,
hours, right?
They saved tremendous amount
Yeah.
of money.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's
And just
that's
a little thing.
That's the kind of stuff that you
Yeah.
run in all the time.
Yeah. And
That's
an
not
outside
unusual.
perspective. Yeah. And it's an outside perspective,
Yeah.
right? Someone
Yeah,
just
it's the way
looking at
that
a
they
big
were
picture.
always doing things.
Yeah.
People walk around with blinders on,
Yeah.
not really looking at what's going on and what
Yeah.
they could do something
Right.
different.
Something little.
Working smarter, not harder,
Yeah.
is what we try to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So when we're thinking about like some of the key steps, the other one is develop a communication plan, right? Communicate the vision.
Communicate the vision. I think the larger organizations basically have an issue with communication. And I think it's important then for the CEO sometimes to make a video
Yeah.
and communicate that to like the different staffs,
Right.
departmental meetings, so that everybody understands what direction the company's going,
Right.
going in.
Yeah.
Uh,
Shared.
yeah, how you even have projects posted on bulletin boards.
Oh, that's a good idea of the visual
Yeah,
type of thing.
newsletters.
Yeah.
All of that kind of stuff helps with this communication.
Yeah.
And in leans, particularly, you can't over communicate. That's one of the keys. Is when you think you've communicated too much,
Keep going.
keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the last two are develop a training plan and develop a deployment plan.
Yeah, the training plan, I would concentrate if I was starting a company into the lean process, work on the infrastructure, work on the process that you use to identify projects, involve as many people as you can because you want to solicit ideas.
Yeah.
Don't worry so much about the tools. The tools will come as you grow in the process.
Trial and error too, right?
Yeah, trial and error, see what works, what's best for your company,
Yeah.
because it's not a one thing fits all.
Right.
You got to sort of pick and choose the tools. And a lot of companies start off just by basically getting organized, using a tool called 5S, organization.
I love the 5S. Yes.
And so it's getting rid of the stuff that you never use or hardly ever use.
Yeah, and so 5S is straighten,
It's sort,
sort.
straighten,
Yep.
set in place,
Okay.
sustain, and standardize.
Okay. So basically make your organization clean and organized so that when someone comes in who's from the outside, they can see. So like labels on your drawer,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
desk drawers.
place
that
for
kind of
everything, everything in its
Yep,
place.
Yep, exactly.
the way
We
it
were
goes.
talking about the outlining of the tools. That's a little bit excessive, but doing those type of things.
Yeah.
Great. And then the deployment plan.
Again, where do we want to get started?
So start maybe figure out what the end result is and work your way back. Is
Well,
that a good way?
No, well, I think, where do you want to be in 3 years? Where do you want to be in 5 years, and so on? And where do you have your biggest opportunity? What's the value stream that's going to give you the best, the best results?
Yeah. So we talked a lot about, that what's the steps. So what can an organization do right now? I mean, so we think about, I know there's tons of things, right, that I'm thinking about that I'm like, oh, well, we could do this, we could do that, we could do this. I mean, for us, it's time. So how do we determine what we're going to do and how we're going to do that?
Well, I think, again, it starts with identifying what are the steps that you have, where are the pain points? Identifying the pain points in the process and start there.
Okay.
Eliminate those pain points.
Okay.
So if it's communication, if it's organization, if it's where you have tools that you need to use on a daily basis, put them at the point of use. Again, just remember, it's working smarter, not harder. So that's
the key. Is that your motto? Is that on
that's
your business cards everywhere?
That's one of the things that I try to stress.
Yeah, okay. So we only have time for one last item. So I think one of the biggest questions is how do we sustain this, right? We're talking about deploying and sustaining lean. And I know from our perspective, a lot of times we do stuff, and I know this at my house even, right? I mean, I go into my house and my purse goes right in the one place. And then by the end of the week, I can't even find my purse because I put it somewhere. So we have to sustain, right? So how do we do that? How does an organization do that?
Put a plan together, stick to the plan, make people accountable.
The making people accountable.
Yeah, because if you don't make people accountable, then it's very difficult to sustain anything because nobody's going to take charge.
And that goes back to our first point, right? One of the key steps is leadership commitment.
Exactly.
And if we have those keys on the top side, it'll help the individuals down below be able to do it. And all of this deploying and sustaining lean, it helps the company and it helps the employees, right?
Tremendously.
Yeah, I mean, so for those of you watching, I mean, you don't have to be a master black belt.
No.
You know, you.
That's for sure.
I happen to be a yellow belt. That's just because I told you before I'm a Lean Six Sigma geek. But you don't have to be in the Lean or the Lean Six
No.
Sigma. You can take some of these tools and tips that Jim provided today, and just start with the easy stuff first, and work your way up, and then contact us when you save $250,000, $500,000, so we can tell your success story.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
It. You're welcome, and hopefully we can have Jim back again soon. I know that there are links to our website if you have any other questions or want to reach out to us or even attend one of the training sessions, because you teach them.
I do.
Jim teaches them. So thank you so much for joining us, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.